everyone. We are the
Wait,
bitter
hold
faggots.
on.
Or some,
Oh, there we are. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Okay, you go ahead first.
well, hello everyone. This is our Cats game, and I'm here with Victor, the world's most bitter Swede and homosexual. Maybe not
Yeah,
most bitter Swede, but definitely the most bitter Swedish homosexual.
yeah. You guys probably know me from as Nefentes the Elder on Twitter, and yeah, me and Cats we go a long way back now. I
We've
would
known each other
say,
for a minute.
yeah,
How long
a little
have
bit
we?
longer than that.
Yeah, I can't even remember. A
I think
thousand
it's
internet.
4 or 5 years now,
That's
something like that.
a thousand internet years.
Yeah, but anyways, I suppose that we should probably tell the audience here that we are just doing this kind of like
Yeah,
improvised recording,
oh
I
yeah,
guess.
we were just already talking, and then he thought that we should record it. But yeah, like without circling the drain too much, like young gay guys, you guys have kind of bummed us out. Um, I know that it's easy, say like, oh, to like two older gays talking about how like frustrated they are with younger gays. Like, where have I heard that before? Eh, this isn't an age thing, though. Not really. It's, I mean, all gays. Like, we should even say younger gays. I mean, so the thing that brought this conversation together was Victor has been trying to get me involved in various Discord groups and group chats that he started over the years, usually with the subject of, getting gays and sane lesbians and even trans people together
Yeah.
and talking about things that matter. And why don't you tell them about how that has been going for you, Victor?
Well, I do not want to shit talk my own server here, so but I can say something that I have noticed, and
We
that
can
is
make
that
general observations about.
general observations is that lesbians rock when it comes to this. They are highly organized. They
Mm,
are really, really good, and actually one of my uh, right hands, so to say. She's phenomenal.
ah,
She's really good and fantastic.
mm-hmm.
And I've noticed this when it comes to different groups, especially if they are so-called turf. I guess I'm not even sure if that's a slur anymore. I would probably
I'm
assume it's
sure
a
it is.
compliment. But the thing is, you gay man, you suck. I'm sorry.
And not just Dick.
No,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately not. You suck. You suck terribly. And I don't care if I'm becoming, if I'm gonna sound like I'm self-hating, committing a hate crime. I don't give two shits anymore
So,
because you need to wake up
so,
quickly.
so to clarify what Victor is talking about, since we were talking about this before, we've never. Both of us have been involved in trying to get gay men into forming some sort of non-woke counterculture for the whole time we've known each other. I did it early on with GigTow, gays going their own way, and Victor has tried other permutations. And what we found is it's extremely difficult to get gay men to do anything that doesn't involve dick pics and forming into drama cliques. That's pretty much. It seems to be all that our people are good at least on the
Yeah,
internet.
yeah, and I mean the really sad thing is that we actually do this for you guys. We do. Yet you do not really give us that are actually trying something new to you don't even try to actually at least pretend to be half interested in this. Because as soon as we try to do something, both me and Cats have observed this, it turns out into either some erotica section or it becomes literally nothing else but I'm bitter because
Just
reasons.
drama and whatnot.
Yeah,
And it's not just us. I've talked to many other gay creators, and there's probably a reason why there aren't a whole lot of gay men involved in politics. Yes, there are some, but you notice like the people that tend to run the pride committees, the people that do all the committee, it's usually lesbians, unless they've been bullied out by trans people now. But that's a whole nother
hmm,
thing. Yeah, gay men. We seem to have. We're great at making things that don't really matter, like being colorful and having fun and parties and things like that. If gay men cared half as much about, you know, male issues as they did about getting in shape to go on the next gay cruise, the world would be a very different place.
Oh
But
yes,
outside of hedonism, it really is hard to get gays as a group to do anything. This doesn't mean there aren't gay men. We know a ton of amazing men
of
who happen to
course.
be gay. Unfortunately, they're not exactly a dime a dozen. They're diamonds in the sand. Like we can never find enough of them.
Exactly. And this is actually something that is really troubling us as we are getting older.
Mm,
Yes, we are going to talk
mm,
about that. And I mean, back in the 2000s, both me and Katz, we actually we did see that the society change from the 90s where when homophobia was actually slightly okay still, kinda, sorta ish.
Well, like
Or
you'd watch
yeah,
a sitcom and like a character would come out would they'd find out a character was gay on the sitcom and there'd be the obligatory awkward like oh like
yeah.
indicating that something stressful was going on. And now
Yeah.
we've gone the other way where now if there aren't at least three gay characters on the show and someone of other non-determinate pronoun, then everyone's like, oh my god, it's Nazi propaganda.
Yeah, and this has to stop because there is actually such a thing as the middle way here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've never seen gay men turning on their straight partners so quickly, and I've never seen them actually being so nasty towards um to basically nasty towards girls that just simply happen to be lesbians. I have never seen so much rudeness towards gay elders. I have never seen anything like this at all. It is almost like, okay, so you're saying that because we fought for you, that you need to tell us what to do. Is that what you're saying? Because that's not really how the world works, sweethearts. I'm
No.
sorry.
And there's always going to be, the up and coming generation that doesn't understand what was done beforehand for them, and they're, ingrates, and
Of
they're
course.
that's the nature of youth. Um, I think the problem we're running into more than anything, like we said before, was that young gays now are really not being given anything to aspire towards. Not to say that gay culture was like, this magical thing that people should actually
Oh
aspire
no.
for. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean though is that like even saying that you're gay at this point, actually homosexual, is it's becoming controversial, but not from the evil Christians and people on the right
Mm-mm.
back in the 90s. No, no, now it's usually trans people or trans activists or queer people, people with pronouns in their bio who don't really like the labels of gay or homosexual because it implies a gender binary. It implies things that aren't true. No matter how much a woman who's undergone a procedure she may look like a man, she may call herself a man, but she'll never be a man to me. That doesn't make me a bigot, but
Mm-mm.
that's the world that these kids are growing up in. And when you're young, you don't want to offend people. You're already scared when you know that you're something
Yeah.
very different. So yeah, I'm just wondering, in the same way that the young lesbians are being gobbled up by the gender movement, I feel like young gay men are also being cited by that same movement.
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, I actually had this kind of awkward Twitter exchange, and I can already tell you that if there is anyone who is sensitive of nature, don't go to my Twitter. Just don't.
Well, don't be on Twitter, period, if you're sensitive.
Yeah, because I mean, when this so-called trans man
Mm.
who he even didn't really had actually gone even through a mastectomy was trying to convince me that, oh, but I'm a boy. No, you're sounding like Pinocchio. The problem is that your nose isn't growing and nothing down there is growing either. I'm sorry.
No. Yep, there are no standards, and the
There,
idea that having standards is creating problems. Yes, go ahead.
yeah, and one thing that young gays must actually just understand is that trans people, there is sane trans people. Go look
Hmm.
up Blair White, look up Rose of Dawn, look up
Hmm.
Buck Angel. There you have three wonderful examples of sane trans people,
I'm mixed
or
about Buck Angel.
yeah, or as we would actually call them back in the days, transsexual. But now
Yeah,
apparently that's controversial.
I remember when it was transsexual, it was so much easier to understand because
Yeah.
what and that's what this movement thrives on is just creating confusion. And if you're confused, then you're more docile and open to manipulation, whatever new label is.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
And
it's
I'm gonna go as far as to say that the silent majority of gays
mhm,
can agree on this. Unless you actually have a diagnosis that you actually are gender dysphoric, you
mhm,
actually have the diagnosis, you're not trans.
mhm.
You're just a transvestite. That's something completely different.
Yeah. And the issue that we run into that with is that kind of like, have you seen the infamous based grandpa video that's circulating through the internet right now?
No, I haven't.
It's actually quite funny and inspiring. So Jupiter and I just today did a podcast about that, my Kaget podcast. Um, there was a trans woman, very
Hmm.
quote unquote, like 6'5", like in heels, like
Hmm.
doesn't look like a woman at all. But so she confronted a 80-year-old, I think he was 80-year-old Vietnam vet who owned a Star Wars shop in Washington. And this woman is a city council member, and she was very offended by this sign that he had,
Okay.
because he had a funny sign about Dr. Seuss, like if you're a chick with a dick, then you're not a woman, or if you're a chick with a dick, then I don't recall what the whole thing, but anyway, it was a cheeky sign that she hated, and she went in there to confront him, and he told her flat out, "You are not a woman. You don't look like a woman. You don't act like a woman. People are just afraid of hurting your feelings, but no one likes you. No one is going to deal with you. And you know what? We need more of that energy, um,
Yeah,
because it's funny if gay men were as bitingly honest to trans people as they were to each other at like the bars, then I
hmm,
think there would be a lot less problem. Because I mean, like, for those of you who don't know, if you've ever listened to gay men when they've been drinking a little bit and they start throwing shade at each other, oh
ooh,
Lord,
Lord.
I, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but we have none of that. We have none of that spice, none of that venom for the trans creatures that are invading our communities and trying to manipulate us. Um, and that's just
unless
because,
they're me.
yes. So be more like Victor. Be more like base grandpa. Well,
Yeah,
do
and I
you have
mean,
do you have anything else you want to add to that? Because I want to keep this somewhat digestible.
well, apart from that, not really that much. Apart from this, come on, guys,
Oh yeah,
grow up. Just grow the fuck up,
grow up,
and
nut up.
yeah, and also remember, we are not the enemy.
Mm-mm.
You are literally in some cases sleeping with them, and that's not good for you.
No.
Just remember that. And also, when it comes to this trans demagoguery, not everything, we have a saying in my language, not everything you see glittering is gold.
I like that.
Yeah,
In fact, I think I might call the segment that if I
yeah.
remember it. All right,
So, yeah, and by the way, just for one last thing,
sure.
homocons and SW gays are just as bad.
Yeah, I mean, one is interested in bodybuilding and the other one is interested in body glitter, but they're all, otherwise,
Both of them are full of shit
yeah,
because, I mean,
they're completely obsessed with their appearance, and neither one of them have anything particularly deep to add to the conversation.
not really, not if you actually look into it. And I mean, the problem with homocons, and there are many problems with them, is that they do not understand that, you know what? Just because you now say, I'm conservative, blah, 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 etc. I'm a journalist at one famous news station, blah, blah, blah. I'm conservative, blah, blah, blah. I'm a faggot, blah, blah, blah. Just because you say that, you know what, sweetheart? They're gonna burn you. They're gonna burn you on the stake if they could, anyways. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Yeah,
They're
there's
just
a
as bad as leftists.
yeah.
Sorry.
Whatever you believe, try to believe it for consistent and deep reasons, and not just because you saw someone's Twitter page that you wanted to be involved in.
Hmm. So that's about it. And yeah. So
Well,
let's hope we don't get too censored.
no, I'm sure this will end up on my BitChute channel, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, well, thanks for joining us for this little chat. Subscribe to Vic. Are you still doing stuff on your channel?
Um, no, not really, but I have my Twitter if you
Uh,
want to see
Go to his
stuff.
Twitter. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm barely active on my channel either anymore. But
And
who knows? Maybe that'll change. I always say
well,
that, but I never do.
and also if you do feel that you are like us a little bit bitter and you actually do want to see a change within the gay community and actually, are open to the idea of talking not just to gay men, but also lesbians and bisexuals and even sane trans individuals, drop me a message on Twitter and
hmm
I'll
Drop
send
you.
you an invite.
Yeah, talk to either of us on Twitter. That's where you'll find me the most.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us for this little conversation, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Aye.